In this mind map, we are going to be talking about the difference between descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. So let's start off talking about these two statistics. Let's start with descriptive statistics. These are statistical procedures used to summarize, organize, and simplify the data. Some basic examples of these are your measures of central tendency, like mean, median, mode, also range or mid-range, some other things that we'll talk about as we go through this course. Variance and standard deviation. Again, we'll get more information about those as well. And then any type of chart, like a frequency distribution or a table or a histogram. Basically, you're just presenting the data as it is. You're not trying to make any conclusions about it. You're just giving people basic information. Inferential statistics, however, is where we want to make generalizations about a population based on a sample. These are things like hypothesis testing or analysis of variance or chi-square, all three concepts we will talk about later on in the semester. But these are the biggest thing for inferential statistics that you need to understand is that it is from a sample and we are trying to generalize the results of that sample back to the population that the sample was taken from. Okay, so we just kind of as visual, because I am an extremely visual learner here, you have your big population, you take a sample, you can talk about descriptive statistics within that sample, mean, median, mode, but your inferential statistics are the t-squares and things like that, or t-test or z-test, things like that, that you want to pull back into your population. You can also have descriptive statistics about your population, just sometimes that's very difficult because it just depends on the size of our population. So I've got some strengths and limitations for descriptive statistics. Strengths: simplifies a large volume of data. No uncertainties about the values you calculate. There's no measurement error. Limitations: that is, you can only make summations about the people or objects you've measured, and you cannot generalize that data back into your population. So the strengths and limitations for inferential statistics, it's got the biggest strength is that we can generalize that information back to our population from our sample. Limitation: since you're not measuring the entire population, there's always a chance of error, and we'll talk more about the different types of error again later on in the semester. And some inferential tests require researchers to make educated guesses on the uncertainty in the process, which can affect the results. So basically it's a fancy way of saying there can be more errors, and the errors can be based off of the researcher, not necessarily the subject matter that you're studying.